After a substantial break, we're back again. Well, we're back again all week, but we took a break from recording, which is fine also. So, thanks. Ooh, that's good. Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam שהכל נהיה בדברו. Pretty good. Anyway, so we're doing Parashat Emor. The last two parashiot and this one, there is a common thread that goes through them. But mainly it's issues of Kedusha and holiness and be holy, this holy, that holy, eat holy, drink holy. And we haven't even have the commandment of that we have to become holy. Right? Itkadashtem. But how do I become holy? I take I'll go on like a Kaplan course, or I go to college to become I have a degree in holiness, I have a master's in holiness. How do I become holy? What does it mean to become holy? But if we will look at the commandment that we have of Ve'ahitem Kedoshim Ki Kadosh Ani, maybe we could understand how to become holy. To be holy in Judaism is not to play it holy. I'm playing it holy. I'm holy. Yes, no, there's all of a sudden all these people who call themselves enlightened and so on and so forth, they speak different. They speak slower. I'm holy. I'm not looking at this. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at the color of the dollar. But, I'm not, you know what I'm saying, right? That's not being holy in Judaism at all. This is not the Judaism to be holy is not to be disconnected from the world. I'm sitting there somewhere on a hill. Only one who sits on the hill is the fool on the hill. You know the song "Fool on the Hill"? The Beatles. Do it, close the window. You don't know the Beatles? The song "The Fool on the Hill"? All right, you should. Sees the sun going down and the eyes in his head see the world spinning around. The fool on the hill. He sits there on the hill, does absolutely nothing. Fool sits on hills. Holy men don't sit on hills. You don't become a hermit. You don't sit in an ashram becoming holy. That's not holy. At least not according to Judaism. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, "V'nikdashti betoch." V'nikdashti betoch b'nei Yisrael. To be holy is not to be or try to look holy, but to be holy is to be holy here, in the now. Because if you see, it's all a commandment. Of course, Mark's favorite words, mitoch asiyah, from action. Right, Mark? Being holy is taking all the hardship that we have in this world, to take all the limitations that we have, to find, by the way, Kedusha, where it starts with yourself, to find spirituality with yourself, is first of all through your limitations. When you realize that you have limitations, that there are certain things you cannot do and you're limited, that you're not perfect, through the imperfection of oneself, understanding that I have in them, calling them by name, knowing what they are, this is the beginning of becoming spiritual, of becoming holy. Only when you realize that you are blemished, and you will see why, Bezat Hashem. Through the limitation of what is and what I have and what is around me, and understanding them, building doing, action, that is a holy man. I want to tell you something, and we'll see that what we think is holy and people that we think are holy not necessarily fit that title. You might look at the world a little different after we finish with this. Well, it's not going to be long, but I promise you. You're going to look at the world different, hopefully, and you look at people different, hopefully. And that's what we are being told all the time, oh, this man is holy, that man is holy, this man is holy, that man is holy. Why is he holy? Right, again, he has a certificate, I am holy. I graduated University of Holiness. What is it? Why is he holy? And you'll see that it's different. When I'm involved in action, in doing, in what we call in Hebrew, Mark, asiyah, la'asot, since after all this is olam ha'asiyah, I'm allowing the Ein Sof inside of me, the internal part in me, I'm allowing that to that spiritual inside of me to emerge out. So in a way, when I'm becoming involved in action, the first thing that I do is going inside. I'm creating a space inside of me, and I'm allowing this to come out. Again, this comes perfect in connection to what we said last night during this time of the Omer, where we don't listen to music, and allowing this quiet, the sound of silence inside of us to emerge. We also allow this inside of us, that Ein Sof, that eternal part of us, to really emerge, come also through the Asiyah. And it has to come from hardship, from difficulties, from that hardship, through that hard path that I took. All of a sudden I realized that I do have the power, that I can do it, that I can pull it through. From the darkness, I find the light. Because if there would be light all the time, I would not understand what light is, because I had never had experienced darkness. Only when I have darkness, I appreciate the light. Now you might understand why HaKadosh Baruch Hu made that we have a day and night. Day and night. Sometimes to have the night is good. You need some quiet. Night is not so bad. Listen, sometimes nights are very good. Nights in white satin. You know this song? You know this song? Nights in white satin. When are you guys born? In the 80s? I'm sorry, in the 90s. So, from being involved in the material and dealing with the materialistics, I'm actually able to find the spiritual. Because that's what defines that. You need one to define the other. You need men to define a woman. You need a woman to define a man. That's why it's good to have men, and it's good to have women. It's not all good to have together. You created an imbalance. It's good. It's good that we are different. So from that, by being involved with action, I'm becoming a partner in creation. I'm taking part in creation. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God had made this world for us, and He did a tremendous grace, and He created a situation of imperfection. It is very difficult. It's a unique state because HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God, is perfect. So everything that He does is perfect. However, the world He created a little not perfect, so we could fix it, because we cannot create, but we in a way create a new reality when we fix things. So I am a part in creation when I'm fixing a certain situation. So therefore I took a situation that was bad and I created a good. However, I have all the tools to do so. HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not create, for example, a bird with 3 wings. It would not fly. He created us with 2 hands and legs and a brain, so we could see, so we could do, so we can act. A person who does not have the mental capacity, let's say, for example, learning disabled, or not learning disabled, he's emotionally disabled, okay? So he's exempt from doing what a regular person is doing, even religiously. He's exempt. So this imperfection, in a way, is a new concept in creation. And that's what we need to understand. So when there is difficulty in your life, don't run away from it. Deal with it. Change it. You have a situation, change it. And again, that's what we spoke about this morning. We know the situation is bad, we're waiting for other people to do it. That means that I'm not taking part in changing it in creation right now. You need to be active. Think about it. It's a very interesting concept. That's why Jews always do things. It is our obligation to be in charge in changing a situation. We see people being oppressed, we should open our mouth. We see some wrongdoing, we should be the ones who are the first in line to open the mouth and speak against and change it. That's what it is, Rabotai. So, by doing so, when I'm making and I'm building and I'm creating something that is positive, by doing this action comes about v'nitkadashti b'toch bnei Yisrael, and I will be sanctified among the children of Israel. By action, v'nitkadashti shows grammatically an action, and I would become. I would become holy. How? Through the action of Bnei Israel. What's the action? You should be sanctified. Nitkadashtem. In other words, you need to be. This shows an active action. It's an action. You have to be sanctified. Sanctify yourself. It's an action. You're not just sitting there waiting for this water to be poured on you. You'll become holy. You need to become. And it's an ongoing action. And it's a continuous action. And it's a commandment about an action that you need to take. So even if you're going to sit down and you're going to read every book here, if you haven't connected that theoretical knowledge into an action, you would not become holy. Why? Because kiyum mitzvot, the kiyum of mitzvot, the kiyum of the world, the establishment, the existence of the world depends on, yes, on learning. But right after learning comes an action. Lilmod ulelamed, to learn and to teach. Learning without teaching is no good. What's the point of learning? There is no teaching. Lilmod ulelamed, lishmor, to keep, to guard. Right? What comes after that? La'asot, to do, asiyah. And then? The kayem. The existence, the kiyum, the existence depends on the asiyah, in which comes because you guarded what you need, what it was told to you. What are you guarding? That commandment to become kadosh, because you took your knowledge and you turned it into an action. That's why one day all of you are going to teach. You did it today. And when you learn b'chevruta, you learn with somebody else, It's a seesaw. One time you're teaching, one time he's teaching, one time he's teaching, and so on and so forth. And the other person that asked the question, don't think he's not taking part of the learning. He's teaching too, through the actions, to the questions you ask. You learn as well. The other person learns as well. So it's a positive action. It's an ongoing action. So therefore, the whole activity of becoming holy depends on an asiyah, right? Vayitem kedushim. Ve'hayitem kedushim, and you'll become. That's the remez of be'asiyah. By this action, by this asiyah, by this doing, we're creating a connection and a relationship and a connection which is closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That in a way, by having a closer relationship, you become, what happens? You become closer. That closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes me holy. How close am I to God does not depend on how close I feel to God. It's by how much I am willing to do for myself to that. Rabotai, it is a very deep concept. And it's extremely practical. And one should ask himself, am I really doing? Why are you sitting there? Come over here. Maratsu. Ilan, I missed you. Come, Yosef, come on, Chef. So, that understanding that by doing, I'm creating a better place to all mankind. It's not only my people. One has to realize, v'yidu kol ha'mei ha'aretz, it's for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That creates a situation of Kedusha. That's what we call Kiddush Hashem, the sanctifying of God's name. How? By your actions. You can't do Kiddush Hashem by sitting down in your cave and meditating all day long. You're doing Kiddush Hashem. Kiddush Hashem, again, it is a positive action. I am doing something. Kiddush Hashem is always by action. I'm sanctifying God's name by the actions that I do. Sometimes it's doing, and sometimes it's not doing. But when I choose not to do, and certain things, I choose not to take part in an activity. That's also Kiddush Hashem, sanctifying of God's name. You set an example. An example can only be set or be given when you are doing something. So, therefore, we have a situation here which is quite interesting. That every time that I feel a spiritual uplifting, I feel connected. Right? I'm feeling spiritually strong. What do we say? On the spiritual cloud, right? Allah ananim. On the spiritual cloud, I'm actually not in a state of holiness or spiritual holiness. I'm in a state, when I'm in this feeling that, I'm really in a state of imagination and fantasy. Holiness, it's not something a state that you feel. When you are in a state of holiness is when you feel like you need to do something. So it's not when you feel like, flying, like you feel like, sitting down and meditating and doing all kind of breathing exercises. That's good for qigong. If you do martial arts, that's good. Or you have asthma, or I don't know, you want to sing opera. That's breathing exercise is good for that. When you feel like you want to do something, that they have a certain spirit of Kedusha, of holiness in you. When you feel you need to do something. That is not, feeling, I want to sit down like Avraham Avinu on my deck and watching the sunset or the sunrise going down as I'm drinking my coffee and I'm doing my shish kebab. That's not holiness. That's fantasy. It's just a fantasy. Oh, that's right. That's right, it's just a fantasy. It's not holiness. You're not holy. You're imagining things. You live in a fantasiot. So, we, and pay attention. because of what we said, there is a situation now that Kedusha, holiness is an ability to be able to give everything you have right here, right now, at this time. This is the secret of many times when people feel that there's no holiness in their relationship. The whole concept of Jewish marriage, to build a bait that is built, to build a house that is built on holiness, is not that we're going to hang posters of rabbis all over the world. It's not that we're going to have a whole cabinet full of silver. It's not to take a vacation in the Dominican Republic or buy a Beamer or I don't know what. All these things, if you think are going to bring you holiness, it's like if you buy lingerie to become holy. Doesn't do it. The secret of holiness in a relationship is your willingness to give everything you have for that relationship. It's not about you. It's not, oh, I'm doing so much more and you are doing nothing. I want to do, and you in return want to do. If you don't have this, there's not going to be holiness. You want to do something. We take. So it doesn't make a difference who does it. And we're doing it for us. We are building something. And if you don't have this willingness to give everything you have right here, right now, for this matter, for the person who's standing in front of me, you're not going to have holiness in your relationship. You might have holes in your relationship, but not holiness. Maybe you're going to have holy-less. That selfishness, what happened to your eye? That selfishness is a destructive matter. It's a poison to your relationship. Of course, you cannot have a situation when one takes over in a selfish manner over the other. Or, oh, no. I'll do everything. You sit down, I'll do anything. No. Hold on a second. You'll see what I'm talking about. If the other person does what they do, everything they can, there's not a problem if you take something extra upon yourself. But there is a problem when you say, oh, you don't do anything, I'll do everything. Like this, people who do that. And you'll see exactly why. That's actually destructive. But holiness in your relationship at home, again, is the willingness to give everything you have for that situation right now. Selflessly. So if your wife goes to school, or she works late, right, so you'll do the dishes and you do the laundry and you do what needs to be done, and that's okay. You're not going to be less of a man if you do that. And if your husband comes from work, and you're not going to go to here, take the baby. I was with him all day long. That's, you know what I'm saying. Now, that's why the Torah does not like doesn't like situation of extreme selfishness or lack of doing. When I'm selfish or I'm involved with self-pleasure, I'm driven by pleasure. I'm driven by pleasure. All I am is a pleasure seeker. I'm addicted to dopamine. Acts of selfishness, whether it's Breslov style or or acts of just sitting down, procrastinating, doing nothing. That's that goes hand in hand. I told you already, right? All these things in the beginning. Okay, let's not go there. All these things at the end will bring you to a state of losing Kedusha. You would lose your Kedusha because of that. And that's what Chazal told us. Habatala meviya leidei zima. Batala, doing absolutely nothing, would lead towards what? What zima? Huh? No, zima. Huh? Oh, I can't hear you. Promiscuous, that's right. Now you're going to tell me, really? How is this possible? In other words, let's call it this way. Being busy doing nothing will make you addicted to sex. Who made this noise? And I'll show you, and I'll tell you why. And by the way, the same thing goes to idle talk or lashon hara, gossip, right? All these things bring destruction. Mamash, heres v'churban, destruction, total destruction, and I'll show you. At the end of the Parashat, we have the story of Ben Haisha Yisraelit, right? This guy who cursed Hashem, cursed God. Who was his mother? His mother was Shlomit Bat Divri. Why they call it Shlomit Bat Divri? That wasn't really her name, that was her nickname. Shlomit, because she used to say to everybody, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem, how are you, how are you, how are you, Nihoma, whatever. Any language she knew to say hello. Kak de la, como estás? Chifache, that's in Romanian. Salam alaikum, alaikum salam, rahmatullah wa barakat. Everything, everybody. Shalom, Shlomit Bat Divri. Divri, lama מדברת עם כולם. Talking. So maybe her name was, hello, how are you? ¿Qué pasa? Right? So, what was the problem with this woman, right? The problem with this woman, she spoke and she spoke and she spoke and she spoke until she came to znut. She became a prostitute. Hell yeah. Yeah, she became a prostitute. Talking. And Mark. She became a prostitute and she had a child from an Egyptian man. And she had the child, the child actually cursed Hashem. And that is the thing. When I'm not connected through asiyah, through doing, to the holy spark inside of me, each and every one of us has this holy spark inside of me. When I'm not connected to that, I'm bored. I'm not doing anything. I'm bored. I'm really serious. And I'm really serious. I'm not just saying that. I don't know what bored. What is it to be bored? I have so many things to do. I don't know what to do first. Whether it's inside the house, whether it's with myself, to read, to exercise, to work in the garden, to paint, to this. I always find things to do. And it's not that they found me. I always, there's always something to do. I don't understand how in the world you could be bored. I'll go for a walk, I'll look at the trees, I'll plant, I'll harvest. I don't know, there's always something, I'll paint, there's always something to do. I mean, how much to learn? There's a lot to learn. There's a whole world to learn. I should have been like, the student that's not going to be 80 years old. I still go to college if I had to. There I watch online, watch TED. You learn or whatever. But how could you be bored? But when you are not doing something, you become bored. Now, when you become bored, many times you create situations, as we say. What does it mean to create situation? Pay attention, Mark. Sometimes I'm willing to destroy. I'm willing to destroy in order that I'm going to have something to do that's going to be interesting. Believe me, everything is okay. There are people who would find problems or would create problems because there's nothing else to do. It's unbelievable. Or everything is fine, and they will tell you they're not happy. Why? Because I'm not happy. By complaining and saying I'm not happy, I'm going to create a situation that will force me to change. Good or bad, it doesn't make a difference. I'm creating problems. I'm bored. Or I'm doing things that don't mean anything to me. I'm bored. So when things like this happens, right, and most of the time I'm not willing actually to do anything because I'm just lazy. I don't want to get off my fat whatever that I'm sitting on. So all I do is talk. Do you know that men talk more than women and tweet more than women or text more than women? That's why nothing gets done lately. Women don't have this luxury. They need to do things. We just talk and became big cowards. We can't say to somebody anything face to face. We have to text everybody. I don't want to date you anymore. Goodbye. Shalom. Salamat. See ya. Chickens. You're not men. You're tweeters. Birds. That's why somebody will come and cut your wings. And step on your eggs. The birds. I know the bird is the word, but you got to do something. So you create situations because you're bored. So, and not only that, because I'm not doing anything, I don't feel satisfied. So what happens? I push myself on people. I force myself on people. Right? Comes a person. Hello, how are you? Are you okay? How's everything? Ooh, tzaddik, you righteous man. And I start giving titles and superlative to everybody. Hello, hello, shalom, shalom. Everybody, I want to know. And I'm going to, if I have a case of captive audience, I'm going to make sure that everybody hears that I'm talking, that I'm being nice, how nice I am, and so on and so forth. I don't really care about the people. All I'm doing is, I just want to make assurance from the people, right, that I'm worth something because I'm really doing nothing. Why? Because I'm bored. Rabotai, that is prostituting your soul. It's a horrible thing to do. That, in return, creates balagan, creates a spiritual chaos inside of you that disconnects me completely from my livelihood, from the source of livelihood of my soul, my spiritual source of life that helps me push and move forward, that creates a disconnect, that disconnects me from the joy of life. That's when people are depressed. There's so many people are depressed nowadays because they achieve nothing, because they don't want to do anything. And then what happens? I curse my luck. I complain about my faith. I even curse my own soul, the Kadosh Baruch Hu part that is inside of me because of that. I need to sell myself, like a salesman, to sell myself, not because of what we call ma'asecha yeducha, of your action will speak for you, but through an effort to make nice to people by force. I'm forcing myself on people. In a way, I'm raping myself on people. Excess talking, idle action, doing nothing is prostitution of the soul. When you do that, you are never going to become holy. So if you want to tell me who is holy, or if you want to know who is holy, look at who is doing. Not who can roll his eyes. Not who's looking for superlatives by giving to others. He wants superlative to himself. He's so humble. That he's so this and he's so that. How much did you do? What did you do? The person, therefore, who is doing and is doing things unconditionally and willing to go and to change, that's the person who is on the path of holiness. He is a holy person. So I hope this kind of help you clear up a little bit. And you could see that if you really set yourself on target, you could all become holy. Everybody, like Korach says, right? But Korach didn't want to become holy because of action. He wanted to become holy because, hey, listen, we're all holy, right? Aren't we? Only through action and seeking closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, by positive action, by building and changing, this is how you become holy. It will be God's will that we're all going to be holy through Asiyah, and by doing so, we're going to talk less and do more, and God's name will be sanctified in the world through peace and make this into a better place. Amen.
Amen.